and welcome to the Moisture Farm podcast. We're very happy that you joined us again.
Moist, even.
So,
Very.
this comes from the heart, this very special message for the one and only listener that we have, which is Robert.
Hi, Mom, we love you.
We're happy you're here and we're ready to dive into some ideas. So, what are we going to cover today? We're going to cover Galactic Championship Prize previews. That was pretty exciting. I actually really liked a lot of what I've seen, and so we'll get into that. We're also going to talk about deck building and deck building in this game. Well, we'll get there. We'll cover some deck building, and then we'll segue into um, talking about theme decks, things that we like about those, like Mandalorians, Force-based decks, Wookiees, etc. And then we plan to talk about the nature of buying packs and buying into this game. Is this a strategy or just straight up gambling? The Senate and Hope philosophy, as it was quoted. So, first off, Robert, you've been having a hell
That's
of a
me.
time, man. How are you doing?
Having a 2-year-old child in daycare makes life hard. In case you didn't know, pediatric cold/flu infection rates are really high. The average child in public daycare gets between 6 and 12 colds a year, with symptoms lasting up to 14 days. I will let all y'all do the math on that and then convert that into sick time hours, which your employer may or may not be generous with. So, life's rough. Life is lifing. Um, I got sick, baby got sick, lady got sick. Feeling mostly better now, but you know,
Well, you look good.
thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
that's debatable. We're glad that you're not dead. How's that? We're just glad that you're not dead.
I'm gonna tell mom you're being mean to me in public.
I mean, that's fair. I we don't have any listeners but mom, so is this really public? I don't think so. I'll go next on that. Things are things, life is life. I've been assembling and painting new models because I have other addictions other than a card game. And I enjoy my plastic craft
Freak.
that's back there. Says the one with the closet. The closet.
Where he
Uh-huh,
keeps all
uh-huh.
his
I know
bodies.
what's to your right. Yeah, uh-huh, exactly. So been doing a lot of that. Otherwise, just kind of working, living life. It's all good.
You know what? Can I open the closet? Can I pan the camera and open the closet?
Dude, yeah, of
Don't do
course.
that. Don't
Don't hold
don't
back.
do that.
Just do it. Fuck him. Do it.
All right. Hopefully, yeah. Okay. There's a closet door. Stand by.
Man, if a human body falls out of that, I am just done.
And I mean, he might as well walk in the closet. We know that he's in the closet, so.
My printer stand is blocking the door.
Yeah, and it doesn't really show the shelves that are on the right in there that I know are there.
Or the
Well,
left.
let me.
Is
How
it?
long is this
It
cable? We can do a little investigative journalism.
This is like flying the Millennium Falcon through the Kessel Run.
uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, those and those and those. Yeah.
I'm. I can stop anytime I want.
Sure you can. Sure you can.
I
That's what
just
I
don't
said
want
when
to.
that's what I said when I ordered the first three boxes of Jump to Lightspeed. And then after I saw a few more spoilers, I ordered three more boxes. And I thought to myself,
Stop. Stop anytime, man. Stop anytime.
that exactly. And also, what am I gonna tell Leah? Like,
What am I going to tell my wife?
It just shows up and you don't say anything and you hoard it away. Like, it's mine.
Leah's amazing. She's like, I trust you. You've always kept the lights on, and you've always worked hard, and you work hard and deserve good things. She is
She lies to you so good.
very, very good at lying to me.
And isn't that what we want in a partner? Someone whose
Yeah.
lies make us feel good.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. All right. So after that slight detour, PJ, how's it going? How's your week?
Well, thank you. Gosh, Leah and Gideon have been gone for a week, and I miss them terribly. But I have been proactive toward um, gaming. I should be getting some projects done, maybe, but that sounds like less fun than playing card games and late into
No
the hours.
projects, only games.
Yeah, that's kind of, I set my itinerary to basically just be games and maybe catching up on a couple shows. I recently discovered Resident Alien and I am in love with this show. Uh,
Resident Alan Tudyk is a fucking treasure.
oh my
That he
God.
is. Have you
It's
ever
just
seen a
good.
more serious chicken?
Hey,
He's
hey.
awesome. He is awesome. You can make a drinking game out of watching Resident Alien. And I can't help it. Like the 14-year-old idiot in me is just like, oh my God, he's surrounded by all these beautiful women and he's just stupid about it. It just
So
makes me
normal.
sad.
Got it.
Yeah, but I've never been in quite that position. I'm like, oh man, he doesn't know what he has right now.
Would you like
Fair
a
enough.
spoiler?
No, I don't want a spoiler. I'm
Okay.
enjoying it, and I will continue to enjoy it. I also finished season 4 of Invincible because I can't watch that while the kid's around.
Yeah, yeah, no.
And Conquest is quite the villain. That is a dark character for sure. I like all the cliffhangers. Some of it doesn't make sense, but that's okay. It's not supposed to. It's Invincible.
Sounds about right.
Other than that, staying busy and working my ass off.
We appreciate all that you do for us.
Likewise.
Yep.
Oh, I did play Marvel Champions on Monday, and I really fucking love that game. I played Adam Warlock. My friends and I decided, well, we've completed every campaign box except for the very first one and the most recent release, which is Agents of Shield. But the first one is Rise of Red Skull, and our habit is to complete every box on the hardest difficulty, expert. And so we set
Seems
out to
reasonable.
fight Rise of Red Skull on expert with random heroes. And I am Adam Warlock, and my other friends are Spider-Man, Gamora, and Venom, Agent Venom. So three Guardians and a Spider-Man walked into Crossbones stealing experimental weapons, and Crossbones is like, ha ha ha, you can't defeat me, Avengers. And then we're like, we're the B team, and
Mm.
we're still gonna kick your ass. So that was fun. Anyway,
Random heroes on hardest difficulty with those kind of games sounds rough. Like
we make
there's a certain level of like team building that I know you need to do. So best of
we
luck.
def
Best
we
of luck.
definitely bounce ideas off of each other and make deck recommendations. Um, we went in really strong and we soundly kicked the first scenario's ass. I mean, it was kind of embarrassing if I'm being honest.
Nice. Congratulations.
I am glad that it was amazing and beautiful for you.
Yep. So, do we want to talk about Galactic Championship prizes? I do.
Sure.
Let's do it.
And why would I do that? Well, because in I decided that I wanted to go to Vegas this year and compete in the Galactic Championship.
Woo
They
woo.
they've got a I don't know if that I'm going to be a good representation for Portland, but I'm going to do my best. I also won't be the only one there from Portland, so I'm going to have some familiar faces, and my number one goal is to have a ton of fun. Uh, so let's see, the highlights were pretty spectacular. Day one is going to be Friday. And for everyone who joins in the main event, they're going to get these really cool, I'm assuming cool. No, they're really cool. uh, gray foil promo packs. And what are those? They're kind of like the prize packs that we get in our weekly events, except that they're exclusive to the 2025 Galactic Championship. And inside each of these packs is two cards. And
Not
there
three.
are, huh?
Not three.
Yes, not three. There are two cards and not three. And just for entering in day one, you get three packs. And as you progress through day one Swiss rounds, you can win yourself additional packs. I think the breakdown of that is you can win up to six, 15 points. You get three, seven. You can win up to seven if you get up to 18 match points. I don't. I still need to review the tournament floor rules. I know I should have done that. But I think 18 points match points means six wins. So I don't know if that sounds like a challenge. That's going to be hard to get six wins to make it into day two. But if you do make it into day two, the prizes get infinitely cooler. In day two, the Galactic Championship packs are not gray or silver, rather, they are black. And they have a set of 10 different promos with a different treatment to them. If you go to the Star Wars Unlimited articles slash Galactic Prizes site, you can actually see some of the visuals, or Tangent might have some of them. I don't know. Uh,
I must be on the wrong page. So
Click on
galactic
the Vader.
prices.
There it is. If you scroll down a little halfway, you'll see some of what they've
There's those
spoiled.
packs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what's also really
I
cool
love that
about the day
Vader.
two prizes, yeah, it looks so cool. So same thing in day two. The more you win, the more black promo packs you can get. Um, these packs are exclusive to day two competitors. And same thing, if you get 18 match points, you make it into day three. And that's when things get interesting. Because in day three, uh, you get a promo version of the Spark of the Rebellion Darth Vader unit card for all participants. There's going to be more exclusive game mats, Darth Vader theme map for top 32, and I believe, where was I reading that? I believe, oh yeah, top 64 get exclusive deck boxes and sleeves. That sounds really cool.
Does
I've
sound
never
really
been
cool.
I've never been to a tournament of this size before. I mean, I've been to large tournaments before, but nothing with quite this level of prizes. And on top of that, I mean, this doesn't even cover all of the side events that are happening. This is just the main event. So kudos to FFG for really going out of their way to provide a lot of really cool stuff and loot for everyone. Because I don't think you can get the black packs, but you can get the silver packs off of the prize wall. I'm excited about these also because it means I'm going to get to do some trading, and trading's fun. So, just as a side quest to myself, I'm going to try and collect the 12 cards from the silver packs because I'm not confident about day two, but I'll do my best.
We believe in you.
Yep. I mean, I've been.
I think I found where they're keeping the art. There's some
Oh,
really good art on these cards.
yes. Which one do you like the
This one's
most?
amazing. This is amazing. Going over the text box like this is just incredible.
I'd like to point out that it looks like some of those are some of the art, like the director Krennic. I think that's the same art. It's just at a higher resolution.
It's the same pose, but I think it's a different piece of art. I'd have to verify.
All right, so
Thank you.
hopefully that solved our technical difficulties.
Yeah, hopefully.
So it's a
Alrighty, well,
different piece of art, you say?
yeah, it is a different piece of art. In the original art, both of his hands are down, kind of doing this over his dick. But this one he's looking much more thoughtful. So I do
Cool.
like that art, but I love the Super Laser Blast. It's almost anime. It is anime, but I love it. This is amazing to me.
That's one of the better Chewies. There's a Chewbacca from an event foil pack that just looks terrible. It's ugh.
All right. So back to the prizes. I have a question about these prizes. Like
Yeah,
especially so how much do you think these prizes are going to go for? Do you these black packs, these cards out of these black packs? Like people are going to be selling those. Like they're going to that money's going to come from for players. Like
most likely. I think it depends also on what the next four cards are that are spoiled. So they've only spoiled six of the 10 cards in the black
mhm.
packs. And while I do love the art, in particular, the Executor and Luke Skywalker, that doesn't, I think the prize that I'm interested in the most is the top 64 prize. And I honestly wasn't interested in anything per se, like as a hope, except until this. The top 64 gets a promo pack of alternate art lightsaber cards from the Legends of the Force expansion.
Ooh.
That sounds epic. I want that. I want that so much because lightsabers are awesome, and we know that Legends of the Force is the one that Robert's looking forward to the most. Anyway,
You'll just have to
I,
deal with him holding you up for it.
yeah, right. Well, the uh, top 64 is going to be a tough achievement. We'll see what happens.
Well, quit your bitching. You got this.
If I go 50-50 for the weekend, I'll be happy. No, I think not even that. I could go lower than that. I think 30, like if I only win 30% of my game, I'll be good.
It's been a long time since you've attended a big tournament. Like
And I'm old. I'm
KugaCon
gonna
is
get
a long
tired.
time ago. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to take my
Bring you
vitamins,
some Yep, bring you some vitamins, bring you some good old gorp, some trail mix, keep your energy up.
caffeine.
Not
Oh, I'm gonna bring some of those Built bars from Costco. Oh, they're the best.
not not too much caffeine though. You're gonna crash. Us old people can't deal with that too much.
Yeah, but how funny would it be if I had a heart attack in Vegas?
I mean, as long as we can bring you home to the wake, we'll still drink to you here. It's okay. It's all right.
You can have all my promos. Okay, so what's your favorite art here, Tangent?
I mean, my favorite art has got to be that Super Laser Blast. I love the anime style of it, and it is very off for everything else, but it's hilarious to me. As far as quality of art, oh God, there's some really good ones. This Invisible Hand, that's some amazing like shading and detail.
Hmm.
I do like the Invisible Hand here, but like Boba's good. Ahsoka is nice, although she is very anime as well, but that's a great piece of art. Like, this is where they're keeping the good art. They just kept it.
They just kept it hidden from us the whole time.
Yep.
The whole time.
Nope. The echo's back. Ah, we'll fix it for next week.
Oh well.
Mom's the only one
We're have
listening anyway.
That's right. Well, what? It's okay, Mom. It's just an echo. It just means you get to hear more of us.
Yeah, she'll smack you next time she sees you. It's okay.
I'm happy to see all of the specific cards that I'm seeing. I personally would like to see more from JTL because those cards are going to be legal the longest in Premier Play. Uh,
Are those the first set? Yeah, those are the first set, Luke and Vader. And so rolling that out as a prize at this juncture seems kind of lame.
I was thinking that, and I forgot to circle back. That is very lame. Unless they are planning on having things like this Luke and this Vader be evergreen, and whatever version of the base set they start doing, um,
it
have
starts with Luke and
like these
Vader.
cards. Yeah,
And that would be cool,
I,
right? Like this Luke and
that
this
would be
Vader are
cool.
always cool.
it would be an interesting discussion on the that is always going to be the baseline of power. If they had those two cards as their, they will always be in the format because they're always going to be in the base set.
I mean, I wouldn't mind. Darth Vader
Yeah,
is
I
still
mean,
good today.
yeah, he is a big old beat stick.
Well, pinging for damage is what is the in thing. Like he's
I mean,
had
he
it
is
from the beginning.
expensive. He is expensive. It costs one, and that can't be understated. And an action when you've got Boba that's auto pinging for one when you did something very similar.
All that I
Like,
heard you say just now is that Vader is balanced.
I mean, that could be. Is that what they want to consider the balance point? And maybe they did scope creep with JTL a little too much. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll find out. Because like I was a little confused. Like not that it's bad, but seeing Ahsoka on this list, but she has no place in Premier Play, but uh I think I think she has a home in Twin Suns.
Well, this isn't the leader. This is the unit card.
Yes. Yeah, I would have
I
loved to get
also
an
think,
Ahsoka leader worth something.
well, there's also a certain level of they're printing popular characters. Ahsoka's a popular character.
Oh, that's a
So
good point.
there's a lot of okay, I don't know about Snoke being a popular character. That's a discussion for a different time. But you've got
The
Han
answer
and
to that
Boba
is no. Snoke
and
is not a popular character
and
ever.
Ahsoka. Well, the mouse thinks he's a popular character, so that's probably why Snoke got printed. Oh, the mouse is going to come after us. And then you've got, popular ships. You've got the original Superstar Destroyer. You've got the Ghost, which is a hugely popular ship from Rebels. Like, it makes sense. The Falcon, duh. I mean, it's the most iconic, probably most iconic ship out of Star Wars, except for maybe the
Vader.
X-Wing.
Right, you're seeing heroes and villains. Like it's like popular heroes and villains that people have significant attachment to.
Yeah, people are going to want these cards because they are cool things. They are cool people, they're cool ships. You're not pulling a Nien Nub out of this. You're not pulling a third string character. You're pulling a Darth Maul. You're pulling a Poe Dameron. Now, is the card any good? Maybe, maybe not. But you're pulling it for the character. That's what they're doing here, 100%. Or you're pulling it because it's that cool ass ship, or that cool ass ship. Like I remember that. I was a kid, or not, young adult for some of us old people when this started coming out, and you're excited about that part. So I see what they're doing here.
I'm excited most about the Invisible Hand, and for no other reason than I like the art, like you said, the shading on this is spectacular. Uh,
Gorgeous.
but I also really like the ship. I like everything about it. Its cost, its ability, and its keywords, excuse me, its traits. Um, I really like Grievous as a villain, and uh, I've been toying around with a Grievous deck for going on 6 months now, and it's not very good, but it's a lot of fun to play, and I'm just really excited to put this into my deck with a bunch of Vulture droids and go ham with triple Dark Raid and just be silly with things.
Or maybe you run it out of Piet because he just gets it into play cheaper, and it comes out faster. Screw Grievous.
That's true. But I can, with Grievous, I can at will create Sentinels in space as long as I
It's
have a
fair.
droid.
That's fair.
That's really
And
powerful.
this will tutor you some droids. So
Oh,
yeah.
and you can have all kinds of fun. Like you TDR this into play, attack, or search, play, search, attack, search, jump to light speed, put it back into your hand, play it for free, search again. Cool. So for 6 damage and 4 droids, that's amazing. Just for fun. I don't know that it's good meta wise, but just the idea of playing that combination of cards tickles me, and I'm really excited to do it.
So that kind of segues us into deck building, really. Like talking about building Grievous, talking about building Piet, talking about building decks. Like, and that's one of the things that we've been talking about offline off this podcast is PJ and I have a much longer background of competitive deck building than Robert has, so we've been talking about deck building. I've been struggling deck building a little bit in Star Wars. I will admit that I am a grumpy old man and I like having physical cards, and I don't have a lot of demand for physical cards right now because I live somewhere that I don't get to play a lot. I get to go down and play with PJ every once in a while, so I haven't really worried too much about the physical cards for deck building. So building online's a little rough. But looking at building decks, like let's talk about that process a little bit.
Uh, I'll go first.
Yeah.
Um, so I just want to get this out of the way for our listeners or listener. Hi, Mom. Uh, we clearly don't know what we're doing, and that's great because it means that we're learning a lot, or at least I feel like I'm learning a lot. I've been jamming a lot of games lately on um, uh, what's it called? Petronaki, and playing online is kind of obnoxious because the pacing is just so fast, and you miss a lot of nuances. And of course, you don't have the eye-to-eye human contact. So there's inflection and there's strategy that you don't get to employ, right? You don't get to m manipulate the components of your game in front of you, in front of your opponent in any way, and you don't get to look at your resources and that be something your opponent sees you do because that's actually relevant. Um, it's just weird. So like I'm I'm being cautious about using it as a tool only because it creates habits. Using something over and over again creates habits.
Hmm.
And so when I sit down to play a physical game of Star Wars, it's a lot different than when I'm sitting down and playing online in that way. But for deck building, where I generally start is I go look at what other people are doing and I build a 60 card deck because this game has a 10 card sideboard. And that's something that I have been investing a lot of time recently in playing with. On any given and in any given deck list right now, I have probably 20 cards in the sideboard. I can only bring 10 to an official event, but that's how much I'm experimenting with costs and different types of events to see what they look like in play, and then trying to um, it's a process of elimination. Like, okay, what does this 4 cost event do compared to this 4 cost event in this color? Like, am I discarding cards? Am I removing units? What am I doing with this event at this stage of the game at 4 resources? Is it worth it? What's the outcome? And that's the journey that I've been on. I've probably logged something close to 60 games with the new Vader in every color because I'm trying to figure out because I'm trying to prepare for Vegas. And so my process of deck building with Vader has been um, isolating packages, putting together different packages for the game to adjust in real time for whatever the circumstances are. So there's just for playtest, I have a pilot package, right? So I have X number of cards that are pilots, and I have a removal package. I have X number of cards that are removal, and removal and control are basically the same thing. Um,
Hmm.
with, I mean, what I mean by that is they take up the same spot. So like I'm either playing whatever removal slash control that I'm playing, it's anywhere between 3 and 9 cards on average. And so that's the removal package. And then there's the curve, right? Like what is uh what are my odds of drawing my turn one play? And what does that look like? And what is the value I can create from that? So then I'm looking at stats. And generally speaking, if I don't have a body with 3 attack, it better have a spectacular ability. Um, Although I'm noticing from my playtest that bodies with 1 health on turn one are a huge liability. And uh, there's a lot to be said about that. To cut that rant short, I will just say this. You want to play with cards that seem interesting and fun, but some of them seem only good in Twin Suns because Twin Suns offers a wider variability of deck building, being that it's Highlander and uh, those turn one drops with 1 health just seem to not deliver a lot of value. I'm mostly
Especially in
talking
this
about the
format where there's so much ping.
yeah.
Like it's
And
super
I'm
easy to
mostly
ping them
talking
off.
exactly. I'm mostly talking about the new TIE fighters. They have really cool abilities, but that 1 health just hurts. Um,
So you
yeah,
touched on
that's been my general madness, and I'm learning as I go, and I'm refining technique. And right now, I'm just focusing on experimenting with different outcomes, uh, and experimenting with what a sideboard is. I've never done that in any game.
So you really touched on a couple things that I want to pull out here. Is one, the deck building process of you start by building a 100 card deck. You start by pulling everything that looks interesting out. And it's a and from there it's a subtractive, haha, I can word process. Because you're, okay, I like this card, but it's not going to fit what I'm wanting to do with this version of the deck. And maybe you put it back in the box, or maybe you put it onto that maybe pile. And that's that really important process of this is good, this is good, this is maybe, and really figuring out where the maybes need to come back in, and the I thought this is for sure, but after I now look at my curve, maybe the curve is not right to keep these cards anymore. And I know for me that's a big part of what uh, my process is and why I like that physical, because you can look at the curve as you're building the deck. Yes, you can look at the curve when you're in SWDB, but it's not the same. It has a different physical impact to here's all my turn one drops, here's my turn two drops. Like you can really get a different sense of there's just too many or there's not enough here. It doesn't I mean, there's math. Yes, math is great, but there's also some gut feelings like that's just not enough. I know that's not enough.
I would like to offer a little bit of rebuttal.
Uh-huh.
And the solution I found for the echo right now is just to mute my mic, so I unmute it when I want to talk. So that's
That
where we're
works.
at. I hear you on the turn one drops or the one health things feel weak. And so things like there's a stormtrooper who's like 3-1, and that feels weak because he's easy to ping off. For ships, I feel it's different because you can get 1 or 0 cost pilots and throw that onto a 1 cost ship, and now it's like a 3-4 unit on turn one with usually an ability, which I think is insane.
So the issue you're going to run into is, are you on the initiative? If you put that one health unit into play and like, I'm going to put a pilot on it turn two, and you don't have the initiative and your opponent knows that they want to play a slightly more controlly game, your ship's just dead. Like, I
No,
don't
it's
want you
still
to put
turn
that.
one.
Right,
It's turn one.
right. So turn one, you drop it. I drop a
Yes,
card, but I have the initiative, which means that turn two, before you can equip that ship with a pilot, it's dead.
I was quite specific, and I'll say it again. A 1 or 0 cost pilot on a 1 cost ship all happen on turn one.
Got it. You've
Yes,
got two one drops. Got it.
but what, but I hear what you're saying, Tangent. And what you're saying is that in the action tempo of the game, you're sacrificing the initiative to play that first order TIE fighter to then follow it up with a Wingman Victor 2, right? I get it. And I guess having now played 60 different games of um, Darth Vader, Victor Squadron Leader, it tends to not matter that much. And what I mean by that is you get used to playing without it. The you just you make adjustments to your resourcing, what you put down, what you put in your resource row, and uh, you just don't focus on it, right? You don't invest energy into worrying about what you don't have and focusing on what you do have. So if my best play is a first order TIE fighter and a Wingman Victor 2, then that's what I'm gonna do, regardless of what my opponent might have, even if they're playing blue or yellow control. I'm not going to be thinking about that. I'm just going to be thinking about executing the best play that I can. Um, a common trap in deck building and playing competitive card games is not focusing on what you can do and worrying about what you don't have. That is a mistake. You don't want to do that. And so I, in my recent experience, have been getting more comfortable with for most of a game not having the initiative, which kind of makes it a surprise when you do have it, and then you pull out something huge or super fun. Um, like I in several of my games, I from turn 1 through 5, I didn't have the initiative, but then on turn 6, I get the initiative, and then I play Unity of Purpose, and I have 7 units on the board. Unity of Purpose says for each friendly unit with a different name, give each unit you control +1/+1 this phase. Bro, like seeing baby TIE fighters with 5/5 stat lines is amazing.
That's the turn ender right there, or the game ender.
Yep,
It's your
it
win
is a
condition.
finisher. Yeah, exactly. So that, oh, thank you. But segueing back to packages, um, what is the win condition? What does that look like? And I don't know what you guys think, but when I'm thinking of win condition cards or vehicles, they're somewhere between 5 and 9 in terms of the curve. A good
Yeah,
5 drop like Poe Dameron, there's not a lot of equals to Poe Dameron because he's so pretty. But but you get my point, like the commanding the First Legion Darth Vader, the new Devastator. Oh my God, that card hits. Oh man, so good.
that card is amazing.
It's a feel good for sure. And I'm never upset when someone plays it against me because I'm like, you go, girl.
Yep. So I agree. Like most game-ending cards are between that 5 to 7 or more resources. There's also something to be said for multiple small drops, especially out of decks like the new Thrawn. Like I just want to flood the board with these things that are going to make lots and lots of pings at your face. Like the gunship that does 3 indirect damage, and all of a sudden it's 6 indirect damage. That's a lot. That is a lot of damage for 3 resources. So
Mm,
there is multiple ways to victory here, I think.
there is, and there are good and bad matchups. That's just all there
Hmm.
is to it. I would say most of the time, uh, in my recent tests with Vader, I would say I should have kept track of it, but it just seemed like at best I was 50-50. I'd win half my games and I'd lose half my games, and my losses were all over the map, but so were my wins. And it seemed like decks that I was winning against I shouldn't have been, and vice versa. And then it would swap, like it would change from one day to another. It was really strange. I'm not sure what to make of it. Also, like how many hundreds of people are playing and everyone has a different play style. There is obviously a component of talent in any card game, and
And
without
quality
seeing,
at decks.
yes, yes, exactly. So, and without being able to interact with the player and ask questions, it really is a shooting gallery out there.
Do you feel or do you have the idea that your deck should be able to beat any other deck if you play it right no matter what? Is that an assumption you have?
No, I do think
Yes.
that, huh? Oh, you said yes. Oh, well, for myself, I would say no, mostly because I still think I'm a novice at resourcing and also recognizing threats. Like when I when should I anticipate a fell the dragon? When should I
No, no, let
anticipate?
me let
Oh,
me
okay.
rephrase. Do you think that it is possible to construct a deck in this game that can beat any other deck as long as you play it right? Or do you feel that there is a rock, paper, scissors element to the game that is just something you have to work around? And you just have to assume that the majority of the time I'm going to lose to this leader, that leader being whoever.
I
I
would
am going to
go
say
ahead.
that you are going to build your deck knowing that if you run into a bad matchup, you are probably going to lose that game because there's no way with the number of leaders, the number of types of decks there are that you can combat everything. And that's one of those very standard things with most card games. Most games really is you can build for a 66% win rate. You can build around a 90% win rate, but there's always going to be that percentage that you're like, I know I'm going to lose. I know I'm going to lose against this. And you try and dodge that matchup. And sometimes the luck is with you. And in larger tournaments, it's more likely to be with you, especially if you're building around the meta, which is going to be the thing, is you want to build around the meta. But sometimes you just know that if I run into this, I'm going to lose. And sometimes in smaller tournaments, uh, Yaya, Morgan, you know that you're going to come in second. Reference to playing Warlord, I knew that I would always come in second. I could win every game other than the deck that PJ was playing at the time. Could not
And
beat it.
then and that was the experience I had whenever our friend Roy played Stonefist and I played Korio's Bodoc. I built a Korio's Bodoc deck that was tits and it kicked serious ass. And I could literally beat everything in the meta at the time except Stonefist because he just did not care about my horde of zombies. He would just chew them up.
I take a slightly different approach to deck building than I think the two of you do. um, and I like to play with themes, and we've talked about this before. Like, I really like it if all my dudes have Force or Jedi or Sith or whatever, right? Um, and so what I'll do is I will usually pick a theme. So the deck I'm working on currently is Spectre, and I'm using Hera, and I'm using Lake County, Lake Country,
Like country.
Lake Country, the colorless base from JTL. And what I'll do is I'll put the deck together, and then I'll go on Force Table and play the starter Vader deck. And I'll play 3 or 4 matches. And if I don't beat the starter Vader deck, I look at what I did wrong, what didn't work, what I needed, and I will adjust the deck and go back. Once I can beat the starter Vader deck every time, I then go start playing it on Karabast. And then I do the same thing. What is working, what isn't working, what can I adjust, etc., etc. And that's how I go about building base decks currently.
Which I think is definitely one of the issues that you are probably running into is you are trying to work around the theme, and some decks work really well with theme. Spectre's going to be one of them because the whole thing keys off of Hera making everything in like in color for you. Great. That's perfect. That's amazing. But maybe Jedi, which doesn't have as much support, isn't a theme that you can build around right now.
It, and I came this way from HeroClix. I don't know if you ever remember, but unless the event we were playing had specific keyword requirements, like Monster on Halloween, it was always a Wolverine X-Force themed every time. Doesn't matter how badly it was going to do, it was always Wolverine and or X-Force themed. And that's just sort of carried forward with me. I've tried doing other things, or the other thing I'll do is I'll pick a leader that I like, and I will try to figure out how to make their leader ability do the thing. So my Anakin Overwhelm deck, and we've had multiple conversations about that. And you all were like, well, maybe Overwhelm isn't the theme you should be running here.
Right. I'm maybe it isn't the theme. Maybe there's not enough support for that particular theme right now. Maybe it needs something else in the future. Maybe that Anakin Overwhelmed deck needs the support from the next set. That could be. You
I've been
never know.
seeing a lot of updated Anakins on Petronaki, and Anakin still has some tricks.
I From everything that I've seen, I don't think that any leader is unplayable that I've seen. I
Hunter.
think that there are some that are challenges. Hmm?
Hunter is
Hunter
unplayable.
is pretty terrible.
Okay, I haven't seen that one, so that might be why.
He's a green Bad Batch leader.
Yeah, they gave
There's
him no.
definitely some give. Yeah, go
Dude,
ahead.
when you read his card, you're gonna be like, they gave him no respect. None.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
And
Like
his deploy
there's
cost
so
is
much.
huge.
Yeah, there's so much they could have done like thematically with this character in as a leader, and they just botched it, in my opinion.
I see what they were trying to do. They were trying to really get some shenanigans going with him, where you're playing
Like
a
gave
lot of
him,
unique.
yeah.
And his deploy cost is huge, but he's playing out of green. You're playing ramp. If you're playing green, you're playing ramp. Like,
But
yeah,
there's
he's
not
a
enough
7, but he's coming out on turn 5.
there. You have in any given color a variety of cards that synergize with each other in that color, but there is not a variety of unique cards that synergize together in the same way. And then
He
on top
very
of that,
much needs. Good.
like he would have been cool as a play a card from your hand that or discard or yeah, so, like discard a unique character from your hand to do something cool if it's in play, and it just be a static thing or something in reaction to like an attack or um, when played, like a when played ability. That it would have made so much more sense, and I think it
What
would have
his
been a
ability
better.
needs, what his ability needs is a
Mhm.
simple line of text. It needs a line of text that looks like this, except for Bad Batch or whatever keyword they have. He needed to be able to play clones or fringe or some other keyword that allows him to have all of his Bad Batch buddies in his deck, and it would have been perfect.
Yeah,
It would have
or
been
Or
give a
amazing.
discount to clones. That would have
do a
made
PX
sense.
for clones.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've been really enjoying my playtest online. I've been learning a lot, and I've been really settling into, or what am I trying to say? I've been thinking a lot about how do I want to play this game? Uh, and I think I want to, I don't think trying to win is my goal. I think my goal is to just really enjoy the game. And that's what I've been getting out of my playtest. I've just really been enjoying specific card interactions. I've been enjoying the testing out different events, swapping cards in and out of the sideboard and seeing what works. And I can see something is growing, an understanding is growing about what is good, about what good timing is in this game. Uh, it's I'm not there yet, but I can see it, and I'm enjoying it immensely. I think there's a plethora of themes that are available, and there's a lot of really cool, super fun casual decks that can be built. Um, while I may not be finding the success that I would that I would want to take to a competitive event in Vader. I still think he's good. I think he can. I think Vader could win 75% of a field, absolutely, in the hands of a talented player who has got a good handle on the meta and has talent in sideboarding.
I think unless you've changed it from the last discussion I saw, you're also running double green, and I don't know that you are getting. I don't know that double green is better than running yellow or blue.
I'm getting well. I have I currently have built a Vader in every color. In blue, I started out with Energy Conversion Lab, and then I went from Energy Conversion Lab to the Data Vault, and I had a lot of fun with the Data Vault. And it was really weird. I played 10 consecutive games with the Data Vault deck and won all of them. And then the next day, I played 10 more games with the Data Vault deck and lost all of them. I, it's so wild. Like I said, it's the shooting gallery out there. It's the Wild West, the meta in this game. And then the evolution from the Swarm or the Data Vault was a um, what's the 35 health base, the new one?
Colossus.
Colossus, thank you. And then I didn't have the name in front of me because I swapped it out for just a plain 30 health um, base because I felt like not having the extra card with a deck that wants to go wide sucks. It can hit, but for me, or maybe I just didn't play it right. You know, I'm looking at it. So yeah. Oh, and I definitely have Vader in yellow because that was the first Vader deck that I built. Called it Vader's Yellow Dress, and it's mostly abusing uh, pilots, and it's heavy space based and triple dark raid, overwhelming barrage, all that, and with all the control and a really sweet lineup of yellow ships, lurking TIE Phantom, Seventh Fleet Defender, the new Arc, Adept Arc 170 with the Restore 2 is really good. I've been enjoying that card immensely. Getting a little bit of mileage out of the Geonosis Patrol Fighter. That's a first. Testing out the Quasar TIE Carrier. I'm on the fence about it, and the Resupply Carrier is obviously smashing, especially if you're cheating it into play with TDR or you're ramping into 6 so fast. Like uh, I was playing one game against a Piet deck, and turn 3 it was Super Laser Technician, and turn 4 it was what did he play? He put a capital ship in. Oh, I want to look it up. Where is it? Yeah, so turn 2 Super Laser Technician, turn 3 Corvus, turn 4 Resupply Carrier. And I was like, man,
Oof.
this is
Oof.
going well.
That
So Piet
Corvus
doesn't
card
have
is really nice.
it's super cool. And I got to finally, for the first time, transfer Iden Bergio to it. That was fun. It only took me 20 games, but I pulled it off.
You're welcome.
Yeah. It felt good. I really enjoyed it. Okay, so we talked about themes a little bit? Did we want to expand
Hmm.
more on themes? Do you have a favorite theme in the game right now?
I mean, I do, but it's not viable, but I think it's really, really going to be viable in the next set.
Them Jedi.
Jedi, Force, Night Sister, Sith, all of those things, I am expecting much love. And you see those keywords on some cards you don't expect, like the new Anakin pilot, I think has Force on him.
Does he?
Huh? Let's see. Survey says
He does.
he
Would
does.
have been easier to just search for Anakin.
Nah, it was more fun to do it this way.
Yeah.
Much more fun to
Yeah,
do it
it
this way.
this is
Force
the two
Fringe pilot.
this is the 2 for 2 3 pilot. Pilot's for 2, and it's a 2/3 when it's piloting, and when attached unit completes an attack and survives, you may return this upgrade to its owner's hand. I love that.
That's super cool. I will agree. I like that.
And then
Attack,
to
Because
I
I
like
kill
that
just
new
something.
Ahsoka card just sitting right next to it is nice too.
and guys, look at this card. Like look at the art on this card. Look at his face.
Mhm.
Like
That's pretty great.
don't you want to be that little boy? Like,
I
yeah, I can win this race. Give me the ship. Give me the reins. I got this. Like this the spirit of that is captured in this art, in this card. And I love that. Like that's what made me like Anakin from the jump. And it sucks that he just didn't get the health care he deserved.
I think my theme right now is definitely capital ships. I like Piet as a leader. I like the control that I want to run out of him to go tall. I like those kind of control-y, I drop big things on your face and just win eventually. Those nice grindy. I don't think there's as much control as I would like, but that's a discussion for a different matter. But I like big triangles, and I cannot lie. What can I say?
What can you say?
And PJ, what about you for themes? It sounds like you've got a hard on for little tiny TIE fighters, but is that because
Yeah,
you
I
like
would
Vader?
say
Is it because you like the theme?
yeah, I would say the theme that I've been trying to develop the most has been Swarm. When I back in my Warlord playing days, I played elves, and elves created armies of undead that I could annoy my opponents with. And and then when I played L5R, I played Shadowlands. I'm sorry, I played Ratling, and Ratling were all about a bunch of little tiny hobbit-sized rats that are super badass and live very, very short lives. Um, and then they Ratlings weren't good for marketing anymore, so they turned that into Shadowlands, and then Shadowlands became basically zombies, zombie monsters, and I've always liked going wide tactics and playing around with that. And I tried when I first picked up the game, it was during Twilight of the Republic, and so I really, really enjoyed the clones, and I still do. I'm also biased because I think Bad Batch is the best Star Wars canon to date. We can get into that in a future podcast. And so yeah, I immediately fell in love with the clones and I wanted to just make tons of clones, but that strategy was quickly countered um, and not as efficient as I wanted it to be. So when I saw Vader and I saw some of the TIE fighters that they were coming out with, I was like, oh, maybe a swarm tactic is viable. And it is. It is viable. I just haven't figured it out yet. I haven't figured out how to beat certain matchups. I haven't figured out how to beat Quinlan. I haven't figured out how to beat Han Yellow. and it's a coin toss with Django and Boba, and it's a coin toss with Piet and Thrawn. So it's like I said,
It's a
it
lot
feels
of
like
coin
I'm in.
tosses.
Yeah, there's a lot of coin. There's a lot of there's not as much consistency as I would like for competitive play. But and I can't, like I said, because I'm just playing online and I haven't been able to really get to local tournaments. I can't tell if it's because I I still just suck, or if the meta is really just that diverse. And I'm willing to just settle on column A, column B because I'm still learning.
It's fair enough.
What do you guys think?
I mean, as far as like it's going to be testing and how much testing can you get in? And if you are dead set on running Vader, like you want to go and have fun. You've said that. It's okay if you are not going to be the most competitive person there. You are going to try your hardest, and you know that the work that you've put into it is going to be the best deck that you go in with. Like
Yep.
it may not be the best deck there, but it's the best Vader deck that you could run. I think that'll be good. I think that'll be perfectly okay.
I agree. So I'm taking a break from Vader, and now I'm playing around with the new Boba Fett. Um, but this leader is any methods necessary. That's an appropriate sub trait underneath his name. Um,
Yes, it is.
pinging pinging in this game has become a meta defining thing.
Hmm.
It is prolific. And even decks that don't have leaders that ping, they're running ping packages. They're they're tapping into ways to um, leverage control of the board with indirect damage, and it's kind of amazing to see.
Indirect
Uh,
damage is just so efficient. It's so efficient for things that you would have seen one damage or two damage on in the past. Like, yeah, do three or four indirect damage. Like you're getting double or more of the value of those of that non-combat style damage. The I'm not swinging, I'm doing damage in another way, and I'm just they're huge chunks when you're thinking about it.
oh,
Like
and
it's
it
so
it's
efficient.
that it's super efficient, and it's setting people up for traps. You know, attacking turn two with a tie bomber, doing three indirect damage, followed up by a fourth indirect damage from Boba Fett, and then waiting to see what your opponent does with it. Or let's say you attack on turn three, um, and depending on what your opponent does, that dictates your next play with just indirect damage possibilities. So I'm looking at IG 2000, Assassin's Aggressor. When played, it deals one damage to each of up to three units. That card is magical, and I say that because again, you have all of these lesser option or cheaper units like the tie bombers and the star hoppers to leverage control the board with indirect damage. And depending on where your opponent puts that damage, you can snipe vessels or snipe units with things like IG 2000 or things like Ruthless Raider, um, or Droid Missile Platform. That's a popular one.
I think I said on a previous podcast too, is you're putting the onus and you're putting that mental capacity and burden onto your opponent by here's some damage. What are you going to do with it? You make the wrong choice. What is the right choice? What is the wrong choice? I'm not going to tell you. You have to overthink this thing now, and now your opponent is having to spend cycles. And I think that that's an understated aspect of that part of the game.
Hmm. What is your least favorite theme, or do you have one?
Defeated.
Only because of Thrawn, or because you don't like the when defeated?
I don't like it because I feel like there's not a counter for it, right? Because I either have to ignore your units, which then turns it into a race, which you've built your deck around, obviously. Or like there's no good. I feel like there's no counterplay to it, and then with Thrawn, I feel like it becomes oppressive. I'm surprised that in my matches, and I haven't had nearly as many as the rest of you, I assume, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen that Thrawn win defeated deck. And when we were playtesting that before JTL released, it was oppressive. It was disgusting. I don't know that any one of us beat it.
It
I
it
beat
was
it.
beatable. It was hard, and there are answers to it. All of the answers are out of yellow, however. So if you're not running yellow, you're going to have to rely on the next guy at the tournament to be running yellow, and maybe five other guys to keep the Thrawn deck down and that when defeated down.
That's an excellent point. The that's what I'm running. Similar to that point, that's what I'm running into with my Vader games. People are just adjusting to the swarm meta by putting in pinging packages or just playing pinging leaders because that's the best way to deal with swarm, and it's the easiest way to set people up for traps with indirect damage. I also have not seen a whole lot of Thrawn lately. Maybe people are just taking a break, but I might go back to it and throw a few games down just to see it again, test it
Yeah,
out.
I'm interested.
I have a Thrawn Tarkin Town that I periodically come back to. I've got 44 cards in my sideboard.
I'm really interested to see where he's at now that the whole set is out, because we were putting a lot of reps in before the whole set was out, and see how he's really matching up with some of the other powerhouses that have come out. Does he outrace Boba? Boba does some pretty big damage, even though he's still red. Like, Boba's doing some pretty big damage, and when he flips, he does that 4 ping too. Like, that's pretty big.
So, what do you guys think? That pretty much wraps it up, right? Kind of hit all the topics.
Yeah, and we're
Feels that way, yeah.
definitely yeah, we're definitely at that normal end time.
Robert, is there a particular leader that you're working on right now?
Um, I'm working on that Hera Spectre deck, like I mentioned. The issue that I'm having is I have difficulty conceptualizing. Like, I take a leader that I like, and I like the leader because I like them canonically, not necessarily for their ability. And then I struggle finding a way to make it work. Like, I would really like to take a Mandalorian deck and be like, woohoo, Mandalorian deck. But with time constraints and my inexperience and I find it difficult to get the thing done because playtesting is a thing, right? So I would need to one make the deck and then devote 40 minutes to playing several games, getting my ass beaten, being like, what lessons learned here? And then just rinse, repeat on it. And so it's and I mean, you know this, it's a multi-hour process, and just finding the time is very difficult for me right now.
I
Fair
understand.
enough. I wonder if some of the aspects, as you mentioned, like, woohoo, I want to build a Spectre deck, woohoo, I want to build a Jedi deck. I wonder if you're running into an issue where the IP is more important than the decks. Like, if you were to build Magic or build a Magic deck, the IP doesn't matter. Like, yeah, there's lore behind it, but nobody cares about the lore behind Magic. Like, even when we were playing Warlord or L5R, there was lore. In fact, like, L5R was the original lore card game, but the lore didn't matter as nearly as much as the gameplay and the mechanics. Like, yeah, you had some loyalty, so maybe I play only blue if we're talking Star Wars. Maybe I only play blue, or maybe I only play villainy. So you have a little bit of that kind of loyalty going on, or that kind of fan going, or that's what I build, but then you're not locked into a keyword because you're getting way, way, way too narrow, I think, with keywords.
Okay.
My attachment to thematic ideas is undoubtedly a hindrance in building a competitive deck. Absolutely.
I will wholeheartedly agree with that assessment.
And here's the conflict I run into, right? Like I 100% feel that people should play the thing they want to play. Play the thing you want to play, have fun with it. Losing all the time is not fun.
I fully agree. So here's a thought. Take some meta decks. Play a couple meta decks that look interesting. So you're getting more of a sense of what you need to make a deck work and what you are looking at to make a functioning deck, and then go back and build your Spectre deck and see, okay, I don't have enough removal, or my curve is off, or maybe I need this thing because I'm missing this thing that was in this other deck. And when you're looking for those meta decks, don't go play a wide board deck if the Spectre deck is going tall. And don't play a control deck if it's going to rush you down, because you want that same kind of feeling, but you want to play a deck that is a little bit better tuned so you can feel what that tuning feels like, what it should feel like to actually drive the deck. And then you're
Well, this
also
bring
not getting stuck with the I'm always losing because my deck is bad and I don't know what to do about it.
well, that brings my attention to the sideboard. Developing your sideboard is it like you don't have a 50 card deck, you have a 60 card deck. So when you're building, you need to be tuning and considering a 60 card deck and up to and including your curve because that's what it's for there for. It's there to pull answers that you need. And the more I interact with that, the more experimentation uh, that I do, the it seems like the better. Like I said, I can sense that things are starting to get better in my general play, in my overall play. Even games where I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose, I feel like I'm playing it smart. Like, right? Like I'm not worried about what I don't have again. I'm only concerned about what I do have and can I anticipate what my opponent is going to do even a little bit. So I
When
would
you're
say,
playtesting decks,
mm,
sorry, go ahead and finish your thought.
well, I was going to say, I think I think what you need, Robert, is what you made the point earlier, you've been busy, you know, and what you need is reps. You need time to experiment with the sideboard, and that means sitting down and grinding out games with, well, not grinding. I don't feel like I'm grinding. I'm just experiencing games with other people, and it's super cool to have like voila moments where you see something click in your hand or something happens to you on the other side of the board and you go, oh, that's a thing, you know. Like someone played a shadows card against me. What was it? And I was so shocked when it happened because I no one had ever played the card in a match against me before. I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was. And so I put it in my Boba deck to test out of my sideboard. It's called Pillage. It is a 4 cost red event. Choose a player. They discard 2 cards from their hand.
Oops.
I just gotta say,
Have
discard
Yep.
mechanics are like mechanics that tax your opponent's hand are the worst in any card game because it it's one thing to play a ship and then it die. At least you played it. But when people take your ability to enjoy your cards away from you, that feels bad, really bad. And so it kept happening to me out of heroism yellow decks. They seem that seems to be the only thing they have. In fact, if they didn't have the ability to fuck with your hand, I don't think they'd be good at all. Um, and it's frustrating. So I was like, fine, I will put this in my deck and test it out. And I have to say, it's pretty satisfying to watch someone discard 2 cards on turn 3.
You're muted.
Am I?
No, Robert is.
Sorry, I forgot that was muted. Making people get rid of their cards makes you feel good and makes them feel bad.
Yes.
It makes me feel like a bad person, and I'm okay with that. So, but I really want to call out when you're playtesting and you're working on a deck, you don't have a 10 card sideboard. You have a unlimited sideboard. You have this list of cards. They're like, maybe these are going to be good. I'm going to swap them out. I want to see how this card feels. I want to see how this package feels. Like, don't limit yourself to the 10 card sideboard. Have a list of those cards. You're like, I want to see how this feels in this deck. I want to see how this feels in this deck. And maybe you just run, a couple games with this package, and then you run a couple games with this package. How did that one feel? Okay, now maybe I mix the two because I like this part and I like this part, and that's how you're finding things. It's having that list of maybes. The maybes is where it's at, and having that list. So you're not having to go back to your box or go back to the massive list of every card in the set because you're building online. You have a list of this is what I want. And if you need, make notes on them. Like have that, like I want TDR. This is going to be tutor chip cheat because you don't have the physical cards in front of you. You're building online. Have the list, have a cheat. This is what it is, or this is what the package is. I've got TDR, I've got sneak attack, and I've got this other card that I want to run because these 3 cards are the package for this shenanigan that I want to run out of it.
Sounds legit.
And on that note, my darlings, you're all beautiful. Jesus saves and takes half damage.
No,
Okay,
you're beautiful,
so
and I would never save because I'm just gonna roll a bloody 1. I always do.
we have a new sponsor. Would you guys like to hear the ad that I prepared from our new sponsor before we end?
Go for it.
Today's episode is brought to you by Planetary Bombardment. Ever had an opponent who just won't go away? Tired of those pesky units cluttering up the battlefield? Introducing Planetary Bombardment, the only win condition that doubles as a real estate development plan. Benefits include wipes out enemy units and possibly the neighborhood. Strategic superiority, because nothing says checkmate like orbital lasers. 100% overkill approved. If it's worth shooting, it's worth obliterating. With planetary bombardment, diplomacy is for the weak, and subtlety is for Jedi. Why negotiate when you can vaporize? Available now in Star Wars Unlimited. Terms and conditions may apply. Side effects include excessive cackling and an overinflated sense of galactic superiority. Planetary bombardment, because precision is overrated.
Well,
I
is
love
that
you.
ad spot written by the Devastator by chance?
Yes, yes, it was.
Pretty sure it was. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you, aggression players. Thank you.